tell me when I should talk. Oh, clearly not now.
I guess the question needs
I
to
can
be.
hear everybody now. This is Dan.
All right.
Hi,
excellent.
Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Bye.
I can't see the room video, but I can hear you fine.
I'm not sure we want the echo the whole meeting though.
We definitely do not. Is there a way to fix that? Oh, I know what it is.
Has to do with, sometimes it has to do with
It's right here,
that.
right here, right here.
How about now?
We're done.
We're all set, Betty.
All right.
Can you still hear us, Dan?
Can the people on Zoom
You
hear?
just muted council chambers.
Right.
It needed your computer muted, not that one. Okay. Sorry.
Pay no attention to the person behind the curtain. His phone.
YouTube should be able to hear now.
Okay, how about now?
We're also good with
Everyone
technology.
here?
You can hear, YouTube can hear.
Counselor Bagley, can you hear?
Let's see.
No, we'll probably have to
Dan's on
unmute him.
mute.
Then we're
Counselor
gonna get-
Bagley?
If we do that, we're gonna get the feedback too.
Well, he's on mute.
It shows that he's on mute.
He's on mute. So if we're on mute and he's on mute,
If
that's
you
the
can hear
problem.
me, everything went quiet again, but Penny shows, Caribou City Manager shows muted.
That's not. that's
So
the
we
one
can
that's
hear
supposed to
him,
be
but
muted.
he can't hear us.
If you unmute, it will do the constant feedback.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Something's better than nothing.
So, I mean, if you want the people that are on Zoom to be able to participate, then we will have to mute it in the closet. And I don't know if that means they're not gonna have it on YouTube.
Okay, so you're gonna play their voices through that speaker?
Right.
I'll
I mean,
shut
I
off-
think that's the only way that we can. to
I'll
be
shut off the
honest.
road speaker. Okay, so I turn the volume all the way down if he talks, what's gonna happen?
Counselor Bagley, can you talk?
Yep, so we can't hear them. So it's a bust, basically. This
Yeah.
this whole thing is a bust.
Why can't we hear them?
Because of us, we can't have both of them going, both computers, because that's why we get the echo. Because that audio is off, so their audio is going through that one, right? Their audio from the people on Zoom are going through that one, they're not coming through my computer?
I just shut mine off, so if you turn your volume up, we should be able to hear him on your little speaker.
Okay,
Counselor
so
Bagley, can you try speaking again?
Yes, I can hear you loud and
Okay.
clear.
All right,
Okay,
Perfect.
let's go
perfect.
for broke.
So we were just getting ready to take a vote on the bid from County Environmental Engineering. We had a motion and a second. Bagley?
I had a couple questions. This has to do with the schedule. I'm looking at the timeline on there, and just for clarification, when will we be able to begin construction, given the timeline of this remediation? I counted like 180 days. Is that correct?
So the DEP wanted us to extend it out, but it's not going to take that much time. The longest part of the process is going to be putting it out to bid, for any work that would need to be done, but we can have, everything will be done this fall. And it is not in the area where the police station goes. This is in another area of Birdseye.
All right,
If that's
gotcha.
what you mean.
Okay,
Like,
thanks.
that's the only construction that'll be going on there, and it's not where this is. This is just to clean up a small part.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, any other questions before we proceed with the vote? Bagley?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
Lovewell?
Aye.
Smith?
Aye.
Terrio,
Aye.
Watson.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item number 8B is a bid opening for a demolish of 49 Herschel Street. That's on page 13 of your packets. The Caribou City Council has prioritized the removal of blight from our community. The structure at 49 Herschel Street has been vacant for many years and has significant roof damage, resulting in a blighted building in the middle of the Caribou downtown. The City Council has authorized the city manager to seek bids for the demolition of this building, now owned by the City of Caribou. The first round produced no bids. It was put out a second time with more advertising and promotion, and 3 bids were received. So we do have the 3 bids here in the packet. The first was from Thibodeau Trucking and Excavation from Washburn. They came in at $34,950. Second was Soderberg Construction of Caribou, Maine. That came in at $88,500. And the third was McGillen Inc. From Fort Fairfield. That came in at $71,100. So Kevin Thibodeau at Thibodeau Trucking and Excavation would be the low bidder. What are the wishes of the council here?
I want to just discuss it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Thibodeau's done some other work for us and done a really good job, so, you know, I want to put that out there. I do have some concerns that the estimate doesn't really detail a lot of information and really just says will do their best to satisfy the needs. And coming in so much lower than the other bids, I do have some concerns that as to why and what might not be covered. So I want to see if there's a way to maybe, if we move forward with Thibodeau, have a little bit more outlined as far as that's concerned.
So on page 17 is a copy of the request for proposal for the project. And, you know, we did have questions about removing all of the concrete and having it seeded and graded. And that was answered before, so they should know about that too. The one thing that we are working on before the demolition is we have to do an inspection for any asbestos containing materials, and we have contacted County Environmental for that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Regarding this, are we gonna, is the city gonna be picking up the tipping fees on this?
Yep, so we're gonna use some of our free tonnage at the landfill.
Free tonnage at the landfill, so that keeps that price down regardless of who
Yeah.
the
It
bidder
would be
is.
hard for them to estimate because so much of the material in there is wet because of the roof is leaking. So there's a lot of water coming through there. So a lot of the material is very wet. So it'd be really difficult for someone who is bidding a job to figure out the tonnage also, you know, for them to make the bid.
Right.
So this, and because we do have the idea of having the tonnage for the communities is because they want to help communities get rid of blight. So this is what it was for, was to get rid of blighted buildings.
Okay, perfect. I say we're good.
Oh, I think Joan has a question.
None of the bids
Hang on,
included
Counselor
removal-
Bagley, can you hang
of the
on?
hazardous
Counselor
materials.
Terrio is
Where does
speaking.
that leave us?
Counselor Bagley, can you hang on? It's Counselor Terrio is speaking.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. I had the same concerns that Tamara does as far as the way that this bid reads. I've seen also his work, and he does good work. But the other two have listed what they intend to do: demolish a structure, demolish concrete, and I think there's probably a fair amount of concrete. It was hard to see because there's siding over it, but I think there's probably, those buildings up there have concrete. And I don't like the fact that all it says is that Thibodeau Trucking and Excavation will do its best to satisfy the town's needs on this project for the sum of $34,000. I don't know what that means. What does he mean? The town's, you know, he'll get so far and stop. I think that we need a more, I don't have a problem with awarding the bid to him, but I think it needs to be laid out there that he's going to do, it's going to be apples to apples as far as what he's going to offer to do the city, for the city for that amount. There's a big difference here. And the other two. So I'm not comfortable in voting for this as it says right now.
Any other comments?
I think Counselor Bagley had a
Oh,
comment.
Counselor Bagley?
I was just asking, none of the bids included removal of the hazardous material, and I'm wondering where does that leave us? Have we made provisions to have somebody else do that?
That would be a separate contract. If County Environmental finds that there's some asbestos-containing material, we would have to contract with someone who can remove asbestos-containing material properly. So that would be a whole
Okay.
different thing than this.
And I'm assuming that would have to be done first, correct?
Yeah, that would have to be done first, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
So does that mean that we want to table this until we get the asbestos survey so that we
I think
can
that's a good idea.
financially
Yep,
see
that's
what's
fine.
going on?
Okay.
I don't see a problem with that.
Can we move forward with
We've
the
got-
county?
Oh, yeah, you can do
environmental
that. I
or-
mean,
we
they're
can do
just
that.
doing the survey first, and then if we find that we have to have something, it would come here for the council to approve a contract to do remediation of any asbestos-containing materials,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we
Yeah.
table.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
I think that's good.
All right, I guess I make a motion to table the awarding of a contract for the demolition of 49 Herschel Street until the hazardous materials survey is completed.
I second that.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
And I think that the bid needs to be reworded as well.
I think we
Need
take
it to
that
be
on.
Reworded.
Okay.
Yeah, because it doesn't tell us.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would really like to see that as well.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Bagley,
Aye.
Kelly,
Aye.
Lovewell,
Aye.
Smith,
No.
Terrio,
Aye?
Watson.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Mm, yeah.
Item number 8C is an appointment to the Caribou Development Committee on page 18 of your packet. We did receive an application from Matthew Bushard to fill a vacancy on our Caribou Development Committee. What are the wishes of the council?
Make motion to appoint Matthew Bouchard to the CDC committee for the remainder of the term expiring December 31, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? Bagley,
Aye.
Kelly,
Aye.
Lovewell,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Terrio,
Aye?
Watson.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item number 9 is public hearings and possible action items, and we do have 3 public hearings on our agenda this evening. The first is a public hearing on Ordinance 1 of the 2025 series, and this is an anti-blight ordinance. It's on page 20 of your packet. So just for a little background, Ordinance 1 of the 2025 series, the anti-blight ordinance was introduced at the May 27, 2025 City Council meeting. So we'll have the public hearing this evening so that everyone can give their input and ask any questions they may have. So I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing at 6:37 p.m. So I would invite any members of the public or council to voice any comments or have any questions addressed at this time.
So as you know, we have to publish these, and we do hear sometimes from the public different comments. So the public input that's been given to staff on this agenda item has been concerned that the new ordinance requires in section 4-407 that complaints must be in writing. The members of the public who commented about this were concerned about retaliation from neighbors if the name and address of the complainant was disclosed. For example, if it was in a written document, it would be subject to a FOIA request. As it is now, we do not require people to put their complaints in writing. If they have an issue, a member of staff goes and investigates it. If they find that they should do something about it, then they do something about it. That was the comment that has been received by staff, by more than one person.
I've had a couple of
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can
questions.
understand,
Yeah.
yep,
Yep. Absolutely.
yep.
So if that's something that you wanted to strike from that, that's in 407.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea.
Well, there needs to
no.
be, I mean, there needs to be some form of protection.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, you only want people to come forward with a legitimate.
Mhm.
If it turns out that there's nuisance calling, I believe we could handle that in a different way.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, 408.
It's four, yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say the
yeah.
same.
you know, I mean,
Yeah,
but
408
realistically, yeah, I think there needs to be, because no matter how hard you try, you know, the old saying, loose lips will sink ships, it could accidentally happen, in which case, that's not where I want to be.
Are they required to give their information, or can they just make a complaint in writing, anonymous?
They could, but I mean, the way it is now, we don't require people to put their complaint in writing. People call us all the
Mhm.
time
Yeah.
to say,
Yep. I think that's
And it does
sufficient.
say in here that it needs to be signed and dated by the complainant.
It does,
Mhm.
okay.
Right.
Yep.
but I mean, you could stop the sentence at, complaints may be submitted to the code enforcement officer and/or their designee.
Sure.
And then
Yeah.
stop the sentence there, and that they don't need to be in writing, signed and dated by the complainant.
Yep, I
Mhm.
think that's acceptable.
And that's what I've heard from the public on this ordinance.
So has this feedback been given back to the planning board for action?
No.
Are they working the issue? Okay.
I mean, it,
I'd like to Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Highlight one of the concerns that the attorney had about being redundant with the property maintenance code. And it turns out the property maintenance code has much more detail. So I'm just wondering if the planning board is working to resolve these, I guess, concerns that have been raised.
Well, I think that's the purpose of this public hearing, is to talk over some of those issues, Counselor Bagley.
Okay, so we'll send this back to the planning board with the concerns.
Unless somebody makes a motion to vote on it this evening.
May I speak?
Yes, absolutely. I think you
Planning
need to
board-
come up and state your name and address and all that good stuff.
Dave Corrigan, Planning Board. We had never included this, put your name and address and phone number and your name of your aunt and uncles. That was not on our plate at all. So I don't know how it got put in there. I don't believe it has to come back to the planning board since we didn't put it in.
Thank you.
Was it something that came when Jay Cam was working on this? Did it come
Not to
from
the best of
that?
my knowledge.
Any other comments or questions?
Well, I'll make a motion that we
But we have to
accept-
come out of the hearing first,
Oh,
I
we
think.
have to close that.
Yeah.
Close that.
Just make sure there's no other further comments. Okay. We'll go ahead and come out of the public hearing at 6:42 PM.
Make a motion that we accept ordinance number 1 as proposed.
Did you want to strike them? No?
Did
408?
you not want to take out that part of section 408?
Okay. I'll revise my motion. Motion to accept ordinance number 1 as proposed with section 4-408 stricken out.
Second.
Does that qualify as a good motion?
Comfortable with that? All right, further comments?
I think that I just want to, I know that there's some redundancy issues that are being addressed, but I think the more tools that we have in our pocket are only going to help. I'm not sure that it would affect negatively if we have more things that we can look to. It may not be as complete as what we already have, but again, if you have two different avenues to fight blight, we're all here, I think, on this panel wanting to do that. So I think just more tools in our pocket will only benefit us. So that's just my comment.
For sure.
The only issue is that there's inconsistency between the two, but that could be resolved on a case-by-case basis, I'm sure.
Any further comments? Bagley? Kelly?
Aye.
Lovewell?
Aye.
Smith?
Aye.
Terrio?
Aye.
Watson?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item number 8B is a public hearing on Ordinance 2 of the 2025 series, which is an anti-nuisance ordinance on page 29 of your packet. This ordinance was also introduced at the May 27, 2025 meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing, and then Manager Thompson, you can kind of share any information you have. So opening the public hearing at 6:44 p.m. So I would invite members of the council, city staff, or community to speak on this.
So with this one as well, the public input given to staff was there was concern that the new ordinance requires in section 6-504A that complaints must be in writing. The members of the public who commented about this were concerned about retaliation from neighbors if the name and address of the complainant was disclosed. For example, if it was a written document, it would be subject to a FOIA request.
So essentially, we'd be striking out the same thing that we did in the previous ordinance.
Yep.
Okay. I guess other than that, is there any considerations? I mean, I read through this, it's kind of straightforward for me. You know?
So for this one, it looks
I'm
like.
wondering why,
Go ahead.
sorry, I'm wondering why there's a limitation of only 500 feet from the nuisance. I would think that would be, it should be expanded considerably.
Do you remember, Dave, or was that something that came when NMDC worked on this? I'm not sure.
That was never brought up at any of our meetings. Just like the signature and the name and your aunt and uncle.
Mhm.
If it came from MMDC, it was not given to us for our final draft to okay it, because we
Okay.
would have not.
I think
Have
that
been
was done at the
fine.
March meeting, and I wasn't, that's the one meeting this year I have missed of the planning board
So
was
we can blame
March.
you.
Absolutely.
Oh, well.
Yep.
Thank you, Penny.
Yep.
Very
Got it.
interesting twist. Do we want to strike the 500 feet?
Absolutely.
I mean,
I'm
obviously.
fine with that. I mean, if we want to reword, it seems like that whole section 504A is probably the part that needs to be reworked, so.
Mhm.
Motion, we can amend it to whatever we want, right?
Well, I mean, you can
So
take
is the
out,
thought to refer this back to the planning board then, or do we want to try to fix it now?
Strike it, and we're happy with it.
I think we can fix
Yeah, I
it.
think so.
Wouldn't fix it. So what would your recommendation be? You say the 500 feet?
well, you could just strike written in that first sentence, and then strike living within 500 feet thereof. So then the new sentence is, upon complaint to the code enforcement officer by any city official or department head of such conditions, or by complaint of residents complaining of such conditions, the code enforcement officer shall notify the property owner, etc.
Yep.
So you're just taking out very few words. It's it's not a complete rewrite, it's just a minor tweak.
A line
Making
note.
sure there's nothing further down in the paragraph, because this one's much longer than the other one was.
Mhm.
Okay.
No, it pretty much just outlines the responsibility of code enforcement officer.
Okay. Any other comments or questions on this?
Nope.
Okay. Coming out of the public hearing at 6:48 PM. What are the wishes of the council?
I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2, 2025 series anti-nuisance ordinance with the recommendation changes to the writing that we discussed. Is that good, Daniel? Omitting the words written and living within 500 feet thereof.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Bagley?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
Lovewell?
Aye.
Smith?
Aye.
Terrio?
Aye.
Watson?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, item number 8C is our third public hearing of the evening. This is on ordinance 3 of the 2025 series, medical cannabis dispensary ordinance, and that's on page 38 of your packet. So this ordinance was introduced at the June 16, 2025 City Council meeting. I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing at 6:49 PM. I know we've already heard from some members of the community during public forum. Are there any other members of the community who wish to speak? Please come on up, state your name and address.
My name is Carolee Carlson Harper, and I'm at 6 Tracy Lane. I'm 81 years old, and I don't take any narcotics because they make me sick or they make me so sleepy I can't do anything. Since we've moved up here 5 years ago, Richardson's Remedy has been able to provide me with things that I need to alleviate my pain. I have arthritis. I've had 2 operations on my neck for fusing. A couple of years ago, because of our great hospital here, they caught I had a blocked artery. And they took me right away, and I have no pain from that at all because I can use edible cannabis, and I don't have the side effects that things like Tylenol or ibuprofen give you. It doesn't damage my kidneys, and at 81, trust me, I pay attention to what will damage my body. I just want you guys to know that when I have to go over to Presque Isle to purchase what I need, when I'm over there, I shop at stores over there. I spend money away from our town. If this was approved, the people would be able to stay here in Caribou and spend their money at our stores, not their stores. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So is this a new proposed ordinance?
I believe, yes, the copy you have in your seat. Are there any other members of the public who wish to speak?
Gotta speak.
Absolutely, sure.
Planning Board. As you are well aware, the Planning Board sent you our version. You usurped us, you came up with your own. We think the medical cannabis side that Mr. Richardson offers to this town is helping a tremendous amount of people. And we are definitely not in any way opposition to that. We offered you a solution through the planning board, and you choose not to take it. So, I want to take this moment to tell you that you are opening a Pandora's box, and you are going to be spending a lot of money in legal fees, and we're not in a position financially to spend that type of money. You are opening a Pandora's box by your version that you've crafted yourself. We went through legal, and legal gave you some sound advice. So, buyer beware.
Thank you.
So there is a letter in your packet from the planning board chair, Amanda Jandro, and I believe that she is on Zoom. If she would like to share the letter or share any other comments. Let's see. Yep, Amanda's on here. And then there is also, Mr. Corvo has referred to the letter from Attorney Solomon, which is in here too, which talks about the law, the procedure for adopting ordinances, and he's also given some sample ordinances as well, and that the council has seen before. But that is in the packet, and the Section 39, which is what you're repealing, that is in here also, just so you can see what's being repealed, which is on pages 78 and 79. Amanda, did you want to unmute and have anything to say?
Penny, I'm sorry, my connection is cutting in and out.
Okay.
Did you read the letter?
I haven't read it out loud. Is that what you want me to do, is to read the letter?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
So this is dated July 25th. Dear council members, I am writing on behalf of the City of Caribou Planning Board regarding the proposed ordinance to repeal and replace Chapter 13, Section 39, as introduced at the June 26, 2025 City Council meeting. As outlined in Section 13-100, number 7 of the city's ordinances, amendments to Chapter 13 fall under the authority of the Planning Board. The proposed changes introduced in June clearly bypass this established process, therefore violating the city's ordinances, a concern that is further substantiated by the city's legal counsel in a letter dated July 2nd, 2025. The Planning Board has worked diligently and in good faith to uphold the integrity of Chapter 13. This action not only undermines our authority, but also calls into question the city's commitment to proper governance and due process. Under the current ordinance, nonprofit medical dispensaries are permitted in zones H1, C1, C2, I1, or RC2, with specific requirements regarding proximity to residential zones, dwellings, schools, daycares, and houses of worship. The ordinance also explicitly prohibits dispensaries in the R3 zone. While the Planning Board acknowledges the need to update terminology to align with state definitions, the proposed ordinance instead restricts dispensaries solely to the R3 zone. This change would render the existing dispensary in the RC2 zone non-compliant and fails to address critical separation requirements from adjacent properties. The current business located on the Bog Road is licensed by the state as a caregiver and may continue to operate in that capacity, including delivery services. Furthermore, the proposed cap of 2 existing authorized dispensaries appears to favor a business that is not currently licensed as a dispensary in Caribou. 3 years ago, a young man requested to amend the ordinance to allow medical cannabis retail and was brought before the Planning Board. At that time, the board declined to proceed due to a lack of support from the council. I believe the proposed ordinance under consideration fails to recognize the current zoning map, the existing business located in the RC2 zone, and gives preferential treatment to one business, but in the last 3 years, the city has turned away potential new businesses wanting to open in Caribou. In addition, it undermines the authority of the Planning Board and opens the door for lawsuits and litigation because of the clear violation of the city's ordinances. Additionally, the city's legal counsel outlined problematic language with the proposed ordinance, as well as giving preference to one business is discriminatory. The method for which licenses should be administered needs to be fair and neutral. For these reasons, I strongly urge the council to refer this matter back to the Planning Board for proper review and amendment of Chapter 13, Section 39, in accordance with the city's ordinances and procedures. Respectfully, Amanda Jondro, Planning Board Chair. We also have on the line from the Office of Cannabis Policy, Elisa Ellis and Vern Malik. Does anyone from the council have any questions for them?
I'd like to hear her take.
Okay. So
So Elisa, can you hear us? Counselor Paul Watson has asked for your take. Do you have a particular thing, a take on?
I just, with just an overall brushstroke, I don't need the details or nitpicky unless there's something that has been missed, but I think I would like to hear her side of the story.
Okay.
Well, I'm not sure what specifically. We can't give you legal advice on the planning board versus city council decision-making process and how that part works. I can answer questions about our policies and what ordinances work and don't work in current licensing, what they're allowed to do with licenses. I did talk with your attorney with the proposed ordinance to begin with when he wrote his letter. So a lot of our pieces are already in his letter.
Okay. I guess in that case, my question to start with would be, as this has unfolded, it appears that this has become something rather simple, has turned into an onion concept, where every time we peel back a layer, there's another layer. Can you give me any state guidance, or from your position, why R3 was originally excluded, or is that basically on our end?
That is on your end, one of your decisions of your planning board.
Okay, thank you. And then the other thing would be, is that he's currently authorized to work in what capacity? I'm reading it here, but I would like to hear you say that, ma'am.
So the current licensing on Bog Road,
Yes.
so he has a caregiver license, which is a license for an individual in the medical program. And under that license, they can have various authorities. So let me double check to be sure I have it right.
No,
what his authorities are.
I know, that's my question. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Opening, give me just a second.
Sure.
We're still in the public hearing.
Yes.
He has the authority to cultivate, to manufacture, to wholesale purchase, and to wholesale sell his products to other caregivers or dispensaries.
And to take care of individual patients?
So he's allowed to transfer to patients at that location with those other activities. He cannot operate a retail store.
Correct. So, in essence, just to boil this down to the basic nub that we're talking about here, we're talking about he is doing this without the retail store, and his goal is to add the retail store. Is that not correct? Anybody?
Oh, yes, that's correct.
Okay.
I was doing the retail side over there until they changed the laws last year, and that's why I'm in this predicament now.
Okay, so and I'm playing devil's advocate here because I have a set of opinions and I have, a ton of information in front of me, okay?
Right.
So what you're looking to do, right, if this doesn't go through, every one of your patients or your clients now are still safe. They will still be provided for.
They won't be able to go in and shop as the store like it used to be. Like, before the new laws changed last year, I was able to have multiple stores and everything. Like, there was an office, so they was able to go inside, look at their product, purchase it, and be able to walk out.
Right.
Now, they're not allowed to do that now.
So they meet with you one-on-one now, under the new proposed law.
They'll have to get it delivered now. They
Okay.
can't go inside and purchase like they used to.
Okay, so if they want a different product or they believe there might be something different that could help them more, they no longer have access to that.
Yeah,
Is that
I
not
mean, they
correct?
still have access, but they won't have access to actually look at their stuff anymore. So it's kind of like,
It's a blind sale. It's a blind sale.
Yeah, blind sale, yeah.
You only get what you got.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I mean, because in all the conversations that we've had here in the last couple months, so many people are so passionate about what they believe and how they want it to happen that we end up clouding what we're actually talking about. And I just wanted to scrape that clean so we're back down to where we need to be. Okay? Have you applied for your dispensary license?
I applied for it, but I can't go forward unless I got you guys' permission. That's all I'm looking for.
Okay, again, I understand all that, I just want to make sure that it's on record and we're actually saying it
Yes.
out in public.
Yes.
Because at this point, I don't think it's a lack of support for what you're doing. What we're fighting about here is the best way to do this so that everybody gets to go forward and gets what they want.
Yeah.
And I don't want us to continually cloud this with comments and, and other things that are going on and stepping left, stepping right, and making this a bigger mess than it needs to be. I'm a really big fan of keep it simple, let's just get it done and move on. All right, so again, I thank you for all your information, as well as I thank everybody who showed up. Okay, so
Could I ask that lady a question?
Sure.
Ma'am, if,
You might need to come
Yeah,
closer
I
to
think-
the, because I think she can only hear you through that.
if R&R wanted to comply, if he was to convert, let's say he had a one-car garage, and he incorporated that as a corporation and moved his stuff for retail into that particular section of that Bog Road property, that would comply with Caribou's ordinance, and it would comply with your, what's the word I'm looking for? With your rules and regs? Would that be a correct correct?
No, I don't think so.
I understand what you're asking.
I don't either.
At this time, no, because Caribou has not opted in for either caregiver retail stores or for dispensary retail. So they would have to pass an ordinance allowing that first for us to approve him to do that as a dispensary.
That's where we have a problem. Once we opt in, we can have all 10 of Prescott's competitors move into Caribou and take some business.
I'm not
that's
sure that's
No,
correct.
that's not correct.
Is there somebody who can maybe verify?
That is not
Yeah, that's not correct. Like, the city can choose their own rules. So if they want to cap it at 2 stores, they can. So I have a store up in Madawaska. They only capped it at 1 store. There's other cities that only cap it at like maybe 5 or 2, or say if they did have 5 stores and more people trying to come in there, they'll probably just cap it at that because they're getting too crowded, So
That's
the
correct.
city can pretty much limit it to how much they want, or if they even want to do it.
That's
okay,
correct.
so,
That goes against the premise of
no, I know.
free
That's
enterprise.
right. Do you mind me hopping in this mud
can't.
puddle and trying to keep it sane? Okay, so
Very
let's
good point.
let's
Very good
throw
point,
this
Deb.
out there then. If I can have the floor for a moment, Madam
Yeah,
Mayor.
sure.
Sorry.
So what we're talking about here, the problems in the ordinance that we have, okay, and Dave, correct me when I stray off the path. In order to do this, we would have to say that we're going to change our ordinance to say that we're going to allow medical dispensaries in our community for profit. And that by doing so, we would also have to say that we reserve the right to limit the number of said dispensaries in our community. Right, we could do 2 now with the option
With
to
2.
revisit, with the option later on if something was to change and someone wanted to become, say, like a producer to ship elsewhere, that would be part of that, that umbrella. We could go back and we could fix that. We could adjust that number up and down. We would still keep the licensing fees as they are, and we would include R3, but still keep the exception of the proximity to schools, daycares, and so forth.
Correct.
So far, we're running okay. No, I'm asking Dave. So,
Yes, they're not allowed near schools or churches.
Right.
So it pretty much rules out anything in our commercial downtown area.
right. So,
Currently, it's limited to 300 feet from a residential property line as well.
okay,
Correct.
all right, thank you. So essentially, that seems to be, am I missing something? That's the only changes we need to make here. And I don't have a problem sending that to the planning board with those instructions, that they can hammer that out and send it back here, and we can vote and take care of it. Because he can still provide services until, that's the big thing. Can he still provide services while we're working this? And it sounds like he can. So if he can do that and take care of the people who need his product, and we say, okay, look, this is how we're going to deal with this, and I agree, we could cap it, we'd have to have it reworded, so we're capping it to that's our opt-in. Is that something we can give to the planning board?
And I believe that's
It's done.
in the,
It's already here, it's done.
do you want to just
Okay.
speak on that a little bit, Counselor Kelly? With this,
Please.
The updated ordinance took into consideration what the attorney said, what the planning board said, and it
Okay.
has been updated. The ordinance, the new ordinance, was updated and sent out today. So
Okay.
everything that you are concerned about is in here.
Okay.
And Penny sent it out to all interested parties, so they have had at least over 10 hours to review.
Okay.
It's all here.
I did not, my apologies.
No, it's
I
all right,
didn't-
Paul, but what
I
you are
didn't see
concerned
it.
about
Okay.
is right in here.
I did not see it until I walked in, so I missed that. That's my bad.
Just a few concerns here. It doesn't matter what product we're selling, as far as I'm concerned. The city council is very limited on what we can do to help businesses. And this is just going, I mean, I understand there's rules we have to follow, but if we're gonna push this out for a year, that's not business friendly, as far as I'm concerned.
No, it's not.
It's very tough here. It's very delicate situation. People have opinions on both sides. I'm just looking at it from the business. If we're selling widgets, or are we selling screwdrivers, or we're selling weed? I mean,
Yep.
I mean, what?
No, agreed.
We business friendly. That's what it says on our sign in town. I mean, so the few things that we can do as the council and as the planning board is to support or get, or make it quicker to get through these regulations and hoops.
Agreed. I think the stumbling block is we keep adding stuff and subtracting, and
We
you have
do.
all the
We
passion.
It's all right here.
So I don't have a problem with doing that. I think that's their realm, not
it's
ours.
just-
I mean, I don't think it needs to wait a year. I think they
No,
could
absolutely not.
put it on the next agenda, and it could probably get hammered out
Like, we
fairly
can
quickly.
come out and vote on it now, so.
We don't need to rewrite that, something's already
Mhm.
written.
I don't know yet. I wanted to just,
Oh, sorry.
I don't know.
Still-
That
I'm
part
sorry.
I'm fuzzy.
Question to Jennifer, please?
Sure.
We're still,
Yep, that's fine.
are we opting in or opting out
For what?
for your crafted?
Ordinance.
Ordinance.
If we take a vote. We're not talking about a vote, we're just talking about the ordinance.
Yes, does the ordinance specify that the city of Caribou opts in or opts out? Are we still out
Of,
with this? If you all vote yes, are we opting in or opting out
for medical dispensaries?
for?
Retail.
We don't have a problem with a medical dispensary.
That's what we're gonna get them to do.
That's what he wants to do.
No, he also wants to go retail.
They're opting in with a limitation of just the two,
I haven't seen it. Could I have a copy of
That was my question, was have you seen it, Dave?
I have
And what are
not.
your opinions on that? Yeah. I wanted to get a little.
It was sent to the planning board. But I realize that you might not have had a chance to see it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
There was some over
I haven't
for
seen
the new ones.
I haven't had any time to look at it.
Me either. She sent
I've been
it up
working
just
all day,
today.
so.
They just came up.
From a planning board point of view, we have to be very cautious on how it's worded. And you don't want to wait for me to go through this, because I'd have to read it 3 times to make sure that I'm understanding it clearly and concisely. But it's been the planning board's position that we've always, based on the feedback we had from the people that we've spoken to, that have spoken to us, it was, and especially where Caribou cares about kids, opting out was the way that the planning board has always maintained our position, to opt out.
And I can understand that
This is a
position
gray
if we're
area.
looking at recreational marijuana even, but when we're looking at medical caregiver marijuana, I guess I see that slightly differently to begin with. And also to further limit it to 2 establishments in this community, I think goes even a step further at kind of having a safeguard in there. But I have to agree with Deputy Mayor Smith to say that, I mean, it would be unfortunate if we weren't trying to help a local business to continue to be in business in our community.
See, the thing is, though,
We're not,
you're still getting your medicine. You're still getting your cannabis, regardless. I mean, you have to probably go to his house or something like that, but you're still getting what you need for that.
Usually I don't,
Okay.
I don't drive anymore, so now instead of being able to get it near me, I either have to put in an order or send my son to get it.
Okay, but it's
25
still,
miles away to another
it's
city.
still available to
I have
you.
one question.
Wait just a minute, wait, it's still available to you?
Yes.
Okay, so what we're talking about is retail, and I believe, I have talked to a lot of people, and I believe that if we're going to go in that direction, we need to do a lot more research and work with the planning board, but I also think it needs to go to the voters. Because back when this first started, the voters by a good margin voted no to legalize marijuana. And now I'm hearing a lot of people saying, you know, that's not what Caribou, we want for Caribou. And I think that if there's going to be any changes made, it should go to the voters. They should be the ones to decide what is going to happen with this town.
So when you get your groceries, do you like not being able to go to the store and look and see what you're getting?
Can you come to the microphone so people can hear?
Well, yeah, you know, I mean, there's.
But we'll ask everyone to come to the microphone then that wants to.
It's the same thing. I mean, when I go shopping for my medical cannabis, I like to go in and see what they have. Like I said, I do smoke sometimes. I prefer the edible parts of it. And they have different things. And different things they work differently on you. There's different strains and different types that have different effects on you.
Well, apparently he has to go to your house anyway right now.
He doesn't,
So if that's the case.
you can call and get deliveries, yes. But still, I have to go with what they send me. I can't go in and look at something and go, well, I don't think I want to use that. That's not something I'd like to use. I just have to take whatever gets sent to me. Granted, he's reputable and I know what I'm going to get from Richardson's Remedies. That's why I've used them. I mean, there's all those, like you said, all those other dispensaries
Well, right
That's the
now,
dispensary I go to every time.
but right now, nobody is saying that you're not gonna still be able to do business with him. That's not the point.
Yeah, but I can't, like I said, I can't go and, like when I go shopping for my groceries and my chicken and my beef and my pork, I like to walk in and look at it and see what
Well,
I'm purchasing.
yeah.
And that business has been nothing but supportive of the city of Caribou. I understand all the legal parts that you guys are talking about. Yeah, I mean, I get that. Obviously, I'm not sitting up there for a reason. I've never been to a meeting before. I've never spoke at a meeting before. So yes, I'm a little bit nervous, but I know what I support. He's done nothing but support every business here. I do some work for Spud Speedway, and if they weren't out busy, they'd be here too. That's why I came. I wish that the council would look at it and see it as a business that is supportive of Caribou. And I believe that's what we want here for Caribou. Even with Caribou Kids Friendly, I attended that down there. And I'm not going to walk around smoking it down there or eating edibles down there, but I mean, I believe we could all work together and all live in the same community. So that's just my take on it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So we're still not opting in, we're just saying we're gonna have 2 dispensaries. So if that's the case, then.
Well, you could ask the folks from Office of Cannabis Policy if they think that's opting in or if that's just limiting something.
Well, yeah.
You know, they're on the line, so this would be the time to ask the question.
Well, you formed the question, would you like to repeat it? Because you did it much better than I do.
So the question is, if they pass this ordinance 3, are we opting into medical cannabis retail dispensaries? Or medical?
So I'm going to answer it in a little bit a different way.
Okay.
You already are opted in for medical dispensaries, but you limit them to nonprofits. So an idea, and I've seen other municipalities do this, is to right now just pass removing the word nonprofit and then supplying the planning board a deadline to create any amendments to zoning and things like that that they wish with that change. That's how some other municipalities have done that, to allow the planning board to do their job, but then to change that little piece to be able to opt into the for-profit dispensaries, because you're already opted in for nonprofit dispensaries.
Yep.
And I think that's what
That's all
the
that was
new
ever needed.
revisions say.
Yeah.
Yes, it
That's
does.
all we'd have to do is remove that word.
That's
Well, I
what
think
this
this
says.
new ordinance
This
does that.
new
The
ordinance
revised
does that.
ordinance does that.
Yes, it does.
Revised ordinance number 3.
The one you have right here.
This
Correct
is-
me if
yes.
I'm wrong, but we did do that revision and did send it over to the city council already.
We did not change all of the wording in there because we were waiting to hear from Rick, because I sent it to Rick and asked him if he
Okay.
wanted us to take a stab at that, and he said, it'll take me some time to do it. And I said, do you want us to take a stab at it? And he said, it'll take me some time to do that. So I took that as a polite way of saying, stay out of my legal business. I will send it to you when I have time. So,
Thank you.
yep.
So based on what we've talked about and what the lady on the intercom device, because I'm very bad at names and I'm not going to goof any.
It's
Yeah, well, if I could see that far, we'd probably be talking, you know?
Okay.
So forgive me. It sounds like the ordinance that you're holding is acceptable, and that all we have to do is change some wording, which is the planning board's responsibility, and we can move forward. And we keep the limit to 2.
Our attorney doesn't recommend it.
Yeah, I think that's completely inaccurate, what you just said, Paul.
I don't think it
It's
is.
not acceptable because it leaves out a lot of the regulations that currently exist for dispensaries. And so all that's really needed is to go through the current ordinance and change the language to conform with the changes in state law. And that's all that's needed. we never had to do any of this because Richardson Remedies, they are a registered caregiver. They were never licensed to be a retail store or any kind of storefront. They can continue to operate as a caregiver. We're not impeding their business in any way. And we'll just modernize our ordinances to be consistent with state law.
I don't think you heard some of the conversation maybe around that,
Yeah.
because actually the way the law changed, we would have to change the
We have
ordinance
to
a little
change
bit
it first
differently.
in order for him to do what he would like to do. This needs to be changed first, which it is.
Correct.
Then once this is changed and we agree to it and vote on it, then he can do what he needs to do to change his business. But he cannot do it until this is accepted by us. It comes to us first. Then once we accept it, everything else falls in line.
Right.
Where does the planning board fall into that?
The big issue here is allowing the dispensaries in R3. So that's the big change.
So Counselor Bagley, here's my
and that's-
playing devil's advocate on that. If we've allowed him to operate there as a caregiver in that same exact zone, I think we're kind of, that's a little ridiculous, don't you think? He's been operating in that same place as a medical caregiver. So I don't see what that change is.
We had no authority over his operations. That was done at the state level. We didn't even, on the record, we didn't even know who the caregivers are in the community.
That is not
That's
accurate.
not
So-
accurate.
That is
and
not
he operated
accurate.
as a storefront and not as a caregiver, which he was licensed to do. So
I'm sorry.
no, we have not
Dan,
allowed
that's
him
not
to
accurate.
operate as he has been operating.
That's not accurate.
Yeah, I can't operate the same way I was operating before. That's what I'm trying to come to you guys so I can continue to operate the same way
Exactly.
I was. Because now that the new
And the
laws
way you
are
were
here, I'm
operating
limited.
before was not consistent with the license that the state issued you, which did not include
Where did you
the
get
ability to
that,
have a
Dan?
storefront.
A, where did you, and B, could you let him finish speaking
Yeah.
before you comment, please?
I don't know if he can hear him, because I think the only thing picking up
Come on
is
up,
that.
yeah, just if he would come up and just.
But I don't know, I think he'd be better to
Yeah,
talk into
wait, right
this,
here.
because I
Near
don't
the-
think.
near the
Yeah,
speaker.
sorry.
Sorry
So
about
what
that.
time so what do I say again? Just tell them how it is. All right, so with the new laws, they can't come inside the store anymore or look at the stuff. So that created like a bottleneck. So like nobody really comes there because it takes 20 years just to get one thing, So this new law prevented me from doing that. So now what I'm trying to do is become a dispensary so they can come back inside and do what they were doing before. So now instead of me being a caregiver, I'm just being a dispensary doing the same exact thing. But this time y'all got more regulations to where y'all can come inside my store, see what I'm doing, and regulate however y'all want to regulate. So that way y'all got everything on record, I'm not hiding anything, and everything's in plain sight.
This actually gives us more.
Exactly.
Authority.
You know what I mean?
This actually
So-
is, yeah, it gives us more authority than what it was before.
Exactly. So that way,
Agreed.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
Thank
Sit
you.
down, good.
Thank you.
I do have a question. So
Yes.
when I hear the word dispensary, there's two different categories of dispensary. This is a medical dispensary, right? So the
Yes.
Correct.
standard people, Joe Blow off the road is not allowed to come into that storefront at all for any
Caregiver
reason?
dispensary is literally the same thing. There's really nothing different. The only difference is dispensaries have more regulations. That's it. That's literally it. Other than that, they're basically the same thing.
Dave, I want to speak to the point of city council taking this out of the realm of the planning board and kind of going out on their own with that, because, I never intended as a counselor to do that. I think your guys' role is super important, so I want to make sure that I get a lot of your advice from that piece and a lot of your thoughts as I make my decision on this issue, whether that means it has to go back in front of a whole committee or board or whatever, because there are a lot of ramifications to any big decision like that. Again, I support businesses. I support what you've been doing in the community. That is not the issue I have, but the way we go about some of these things has to fall in line with the way we're supposed to be going about these things. So I think I was just a little bit nervous seeing how we kind of superseded and just decided to do something that goes against what our own policies are. So
I mean, and maybe, forgive me if I'm not clear on this, but I think the planning board did come with a recommendation.
Yes,
But
they
that
did.
doesn't mean the council has to follow that recommendation per
No, it
se.
doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
And
If you
unfortunately,
guys have any legal questions, my lawyer's on the phone too. She's the one who helped out with the ordinance, so everything that y'all lawyer said, she's the one who took everything into consideration.
So this is the Jill Cohen?
Yes.
Yeah, Jill, that's my
Okay.
lawyer, yeah. So if you got any questions, what we can or whatever, legal questions, she can help with that or answer any questions.
I think right now it's just a matter of pushing through what we got.
I think we need to.
I'd like to ask Jill why the state made changes to adversely affect him.
Are you able to hear that?
What's
I
the
heard
rationale
it.
behind
Okay.
the changes?
Good evening, everybody. My name's Jill Cohen. I'm an attorney at Barrel in Portland. I've been working with Mr. Richardson on the ordinance that I believe is in front of you this evening, one version of it. It was the legislature that took action. I believe a new law went into effect on August 9th of 2024 that redefined what it meant to be a caregiver retail store. And so that sort of rendered many of things that we refer to as patient offices, that those actually fit the definition of a retail store. So what Mr. Richardson has explained to you is that under his current registration, he's somewhat limited. He can't just be open to the public. He has to operate by appointment only. People can't come in and shop. He's supposed to sell what he grows and what's produced from what he grows. He also is limited to one location. So he's interested in converting to a dispensary license. So I've seen every version of your ordinance, and I've read the letter from Attorney Solomon, and it was my guide on that last version of the ordinance. I went point by point of his letter, updated all the citations to track current state law, and the regulatory framework that's in place for medical, even though it's somewhat outdated, but the rules that are in place for medical. And so I addressed all of the issues that he raised in the letter in the current version. So this really came from the legislature, and me and Ms. Ellis and Mr. Malik, who's on the line, like, we just help people come into compliance. So it wasn't OCP that changed it. This happened as the result of a legislative change.
So I know you haven't had a lot of time to look at the ordinance, but with your knowledge of the planning board issues, is this going to violate this is superseding, this is taking place of the ordinances we have in place, correct? This
A
current
portion of it, not all of it.
version?
Yeah,
Just a portion.
It's just updating.
So here's the thing, is I get where all of our minds are on this issue, and I think we're united in a lot of it. My bigger issue is I know what a lot of the community has come and said to me, and I agree with the community. We don't want to see retail stores in our community. We don't want to we don't want to get to the Presque Isle 10 stores on my
Absolutely.
road, and so we're not going to always be here. So whatever ordinances we change, we don't want to leave that open to interpretation by the next group of people who, I mean, of course they can change things if they want to change things through the procedures and processes that are available. But again, I just want to make sure whatever is being done is not going to open the door for things that we aren't actually anticipating, and things that, again, lawsuits because other people are saying, well, you're doing this and this is not fair and that kind of thing, because that was part of one of the emails I just read. So
It states in here only two.
yeah,
And
I saw
that's
that.
it. Yeah, it's just two. All we're doing is updating. And we're updating it so that he's able to do what he needs to do.
So
We're not,
did Attorney Solomon say that that's going to leave us open to any kind of litigious action because we're saying that? I mean, I agree that that's what it should be, and I know why you're doing that.
Right.
So this is not me coming at you or
Right. No, I
combating you,
understand.
but you have to think through all the other sides of it, and I want to make sure, is that what our attorneys are recommending? I know that his attorneys looked over it too, but as our attorney recommended, this is going to be, keeping our end goal safe, while preserving the businesses that are already in town operating. So, I don't know who that question is out, that's a question out to the
Well, I
universe.
sent it to Attorney Solomon this morning, but he must not have had a chance to look at it today, because I didn't hear, I checked my email before I came down for the meeting, and I didn't have any commentary, you know.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance to look at it until tonight either, so I understand that. Sometimes it's a little quick, but.
Because I see the problem of if you're going to limit it to 2, what happens if you have 5 people that want it? Is it legal to just say, okay, well, we already told him he can have it without going through any of the bells and whistles that you have to go through and things like that? I mean, you're going to have to be fair with everybody, and I can see problems.
You can make, and I think,
And if you go higher than 2, then
there's
you're
always
being-
can be a revision to the ordinance. I think it's, what your question was, a future council this could be, if this goes or doesn't go through tonight, there's always.
Yeah, they can always change and
we
update, however.
We always can change, update, whether you say the 2 or the 5, to be fair, I agree with that. I mean, it's limited to 2, but then.
And then you'll have 10, and then you'll have 20.
Well, we don't,
can't-
well.
We don't know that. I mean, all we can do is what we have in front of us today.
Yeah, but-
And it says
Which
2.
says 2.
Which says 2.
Okay, so that's
Which
what I'm
is
asking.
2
is You're
operations.
going to have 2 operations, but you have 5 people that want it, so you can't just
Well, the ordinance says
arbitrarily.
just 2. That means
I-
no other can come.
So how are you going to choose from those 5 people that want to come?
Can't you just say like for any pre-existing ones or something?
Yeah, grandfather them in.
Because I mean, even though I
But
didn't
he's
get
not.
the authorization from you guys I got from the state, I still am a pre-existing by the state. So if you say you need pre-existing stores, and I am a pre-existing store, those are the ones, you know what I'm trying to say?
Technically,
Pre-existing stores can get.
Yeah, I think there's some question back and forth on that as well. But I'm just playing devil's advocate because I agree with Dave 100%. I see Pandora's box opening up, and boy, watch out. There's a lot of problems that we're just not either thinking about or paying attention to or whatever, but one's going to lead to another's going to lead to another.
That'll happen.
Well, and I've said before too that we don't know what the state legislature is going to do in the future,
Right.
and we're assuming that they're going to leave us alone to do our home rule. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if they came in and said, you know what, we're not going to allow you to limit anymore. Or came in and said, you know, we're going to get rid of all medical categories and lump everything into retail. And you have to allow anybody who's operating to be adult use. I mean, anything can happen. And you know the direction they're going. So I worry too.
Well, that could
Maybe too
happen, I
much,
think,
but I do
anyways.
worry
Anyways,
about
I mean,
that.
that's not something we can
We
control.
wouldn't be able to control that if it did happen, so.
No, we wouldn't be able to.
You can control it, but you can slow it down.
But we're not trying to slow
Yeah,
down
I
his
don't-
business. That's what we're
I
trying to
think
get
we're
at.
just trying to help him
Yes.
maintain his business.
We're not
At the
trying
end
to
of
slow
the
anything
day,
down.
and if that means we take this new ordinance and give everyone a hot minute to really take time to look at it, and that means we come to the next meeting and we
I think
take
if
a
we're
vote.
if we're gonna do that hot minute thing, I think he has a good point. He's pre-existing. That would beat out your other 5. We're not talking about opening up the slough
We're
and
not.
running water.
No, we're not.
I didn't think that
We're not
think-
talking
No.
about
I don't think
allowing
he was
other businesses
legally-
in.
Yeah.
And I think that
He was
wording needs to be
pre-existing.
there.
It's
that
just that when the
pre-existing.
legislation changed, it changed how he
Right,
could,
right, so
operate.
now he's not considered.
well, but he is an existing business in our
He's
community.
not pre-existing.
He's an existing
He
business
is an
in our
existing-
community, Counselor Bagley.
He is, he pays taxes. That's how that
He
rolls.
is a business in our community, Counselor Bagley.
So, we may not have jurisdiction over his business, but he is a business.
Yes, he is.
And he still is a business, and he can continue to operate as a business that he's licensed to operate under.
He just contradicted
Okay.
himself.
It's okay, we'll agree to disagree.
Mhm.
Does anybody else have anything they'd like to add?
I hope you guys would vote on the side of compassion for people like me and my mother. I would appreciate it. If it was any other business, you'd stand it. I mean, we wouldn't be at this point. If you're worried about the corridor being flushed with dispensaries, I think we have enough schools and churches all through here that would limit that anyway. And there is a limit, as you said.
Yes, there is.
Well,
For kids.
yeah, there's a limit
It
here.
says right here,
Businesses.
permitted dispensaries right here, too.
I mean, he's been here for what, 10 years?
More.
You're
Yeah,
gonna
there's
be
a-
Longer than that?
You're not gonna be hooked up all the way, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right. Let's hear what the lady has to say.
Rona Caribou. You know, he was saying people want to go in and see what they're getting for their product. Okay? It's like you ladies. Go to Walmart. Stop. You can't go past that door. You describe to them what hair product you want. Are you going to take what they first bring you? No. You're going to take what they bring you the second time? No, because you want to see the product you're getting. I use Purple Passion because it's an indica and it helps calm me down. My anxiety, it gets to the point I have to go to the hospital and have shots, and those hurt. I'd rather smoke or have a gummy besides the pills and the shots. I've been doing those shots for a number of years. I can't do it no more. Now I'm hoping he'll be able to help me later on. I'm going blind. I'm losing my sight. He has things in there. He's got charts that gives you everything that he has in there. What it's for, what it can be used for, and how much you should take. I got a product from him not too long ago, and it's called Sleepy Time Syrup. That helps out so much.
Yeah, I read it.
It calms things down. They had just renovated their building, so you go in one way and you come out another way. I don't do that because I can't go down the stairs. I have to go out the same way I come in. I don't care who sees me.
It's right there.
Yep. So we can.
If I smoke, I smoke. If I dye my hair, I dye my hair. But at least he's got enough compassion to listen to people and help them out.
Yep.
He's got enough passion to sit you down and show you the steps of his products. What they do, how long they last. He has been a great help to this community. He has offered so much. He's never come back and asked for anybody to help him donate or donate to him. When he was doing that donation for the Humane Society, whether I had the money or not, I gave to him to help the animals.
There you are, my dear.
I have now got my 6th support animal from the Humane Society. She's the best thing that I could ever have.
Ma'am, that's wonderful, but can we keep the conversation to the dispensary conversation?
He's got stuff in there for pets. My little Roxy, I don't know what happened to her, but she's terrified of the rain. It starts raining and she'll run and hide. He gave me some medicine, some drops to help calm her down. They actually do work. So it's not just for family, it's for pets. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to state that in the ordinance, if you look it over, it says in 3 zoning, it does state that in R3, an existing business can only be in R3, 1. What everyone is worried about, it's right here, right there. Only 1 in R3, and that's it.
Penny,
And it's an existing business.
Penny, you were going to say something, I believe?
No, I mean, no respect to anyone, but I would like permission to use the restroom.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So it says right here, policy license operating as of the date of enactment of this ordinance is grandfathered as a non-conforming use if it is not located in the R3 zone.
Courtney, I just want to play devil's advocate for making the RC2 non-compliant. Worst case scenario, that business burns down and he wants to replace it and it takes him a year to do that. Per the ordinance, if it sits for over a year and it's non-compliant, he cannot reopen his business in the same location. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware of that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, he's aware of that.
No, I'm talking about the existing one on Route 1.
Safe alternative.
Oh, you're talking about safe alternatives?
Correct.
Yeah, because
Yes,
RC2.
I'm talking since you're making that non-compliant, an existing non-conforming in the RC2 zone, because you're changing it to R3 only. If anything was to happen to that business, and it took him a year to get back up and operational, he would not be allowed to do that per the ordinance.
Have you read the latest updated version that Penny sent out this morning?
Yes,
With
it
all the
says
updates?
R3 only, and then RC2, basically the existing one, becomes existing non-conforming. I'm just letting you guys know
It
that in
says,
in the future, if anything was to happen to that business, like it burned down or something, and he went non-operational for a year, he would not be able to reopen in the same location.
That was in
In
the lawyer letter.
okay, hang on, let me find it. Because this one, safe alternatives is grandfathered in.
Yes, but if they burn down, will they be allowed to reopen in the same location over a year? Realistically, it should reflect that both areas are acceptable. That would be the easiest way to do it.
And this is a really good example as why it should start with the planning board, because this is what we do day in and day out, is zoning and businesses and land use throughout the city.
So the other comment in the email that you have here from the Office of Cannabis Policy did want to clarify that a dispensary has an unlimited cultivation canopy, so the city may want to consider putting a limitation in the ordinance if that is a concern. Now, those are things I don't really understand, about cultivation canopy, but I just wanted to also...
I can take a swing at that if you want.
Sure.
Under the cultivation canopy, and you can correct me if I'm wrong,
You can remove that
he's
language.
restricted right now to the strains that his patients are using and variables thereof. With the expanded canopy, he would be allowed to develop other strains and have other strains that are non-related to his current patients in the event that one of those patients was to find that product more useful. That's how that canopy statement reads. The only reason I know that is at one point in time I was going to try to do what he's doing, and I had to go through all that educational material. And let me tell you what, more power to him, because I'm not touching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And with the ordinance for that 12, like she was stating, that 12-month, all we need to do is remove that language.
Yep.
It just needs to be removed.
So the other thing about like what your operation before the change in the ordinance by having an office. So the office was run kind of like a store. People could come in and select their product in your office. And so it was the change to caregiver retail store that the office then became a caregiver retail store under the new definition.
Yeah.
Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And since you're only limited to one office, every other store that had to get shut down, or, you know what I'm trying to say? So that's why I'm trying to do a dispensary, so I can continue to keep that retail store that was an office, you know what I mean? To, you know, continue to open.
Yep. And I think, as Councilor Kelly mentioned, we could change the wording, and that's under section 2, number 2 of this ordinance.
Of the
The period, if a registered dispensary ceases operations for a period of 12 months for any reason, the city will revoke the license issued to the registered dispensary, and the registered dispensary will no longer be able to operate. So that
Simply just
language could
removing
be
it.
taken out.
Right.
We could,
So then safe alternatives would be,
Guaranteed to
right,
operate.
exactly.
we can update these at any time. I mean, if this passes at a later, it's just a minor revision.
Exactly. It's a minor revision.
So if that's not accepted tonight, I mean, at a future meeting, we can say, hey, or the council can say, well, we want to change or update this. I mean,
You
we
can
can, we can,
update it,
we can
yeah.
update, we can revise, we can really kind of, well, I don't want to say that, but do whatever we want to do, really. But I mean, there's always options for updating things, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this isn't, and I think you mentioned that earlier, this isn't written in stone.
No.
This, you know.
And I have had a better chance to look at it, and I do think you took into effect a lot of things that, I mean, I know we discussed a lot of my concerns, so I do see that those things were taken into account, for
Considerations.
sure.
I just don't want to see this, we're arguing here, we got to make a decision
We
here
do.
on
Yeah.
this evening.
I agree.
Whether, what we do or not.
I
mean,
agree, and I mean, this is something that's already been, it's been pre-existing in our community, and this has been going on exactly in the same way under a different category or title for a lot of years. But, you know, definitely want to make sure that we're still all on board with the bottom line and where we want to see this kind of stay. We don't want to open any doors that are going to go against that. But I think that this
Close
ordinance
any.
is well-written, so.
Any final comments before we come out of the public hearing? Okay, closing the public hearing at 7:50.
With that, I'll make a motion that we accept ordinance number 3, the revised option.
Do you want to leave in the language about the 12 months or
Well,
strike
just, no,
that,
just leave it
Leave
alone.
it alone.
Leave that alone, as proposed.
I second it.
Motion and a second, further discussion? Bagley?
Well, our planning board has come out of, I was just gonna have a discussion item. I think, you know, at the end of the day, you know, our planning board is opposed to these changes. Our city attorney has come out and recommended that we do not go forward. He has not yet had a chance to review the latest changes that were made today. And so I would rather refer this back to the planning board, and so I will not support the motion to accept this tonight.
Okay, thank you. Further discussion? Bagley?
No.
Kelly?
Yes.
Lovewell?
I'm going to vote yes.
Smith?
Aye.
Terrio?
No.
Watson?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 10, is reports by staff and committees, and 10A is our financial report for June 2025. And Finance Director Grant is with us this evening.
Evening, Mayor, Council, Manager Thompson. I have the June financials narrative on page 81. I'll be referencing page 82. June financials ending June 30th, 2025. Assets on hand are $10,123,551.86. Cash on hand, $4,038,577.05. Towards the bottom of the page, the 2025 tax receivables collected in June was $52,997.36. Total in prepayments year to date is $308,690.18. On the next page, I have the liabilities. They came in at $6,657,390.54. Moving over to page 87, the ending fund balance, about a third of the way down the page, $3,466,161.39. I'm sorry, 32 cents. Moving over to expenses for the month on page 89. Total expenses for the month come in at $760,544.32. We are at 37.7% of our budget, so we're through half the year. We are 12.3% under budget. Moving over to revenues on page 94. Revenues for the month come in at $619,542.75. We are currently at 29.8% of our current budget. We're about 20% under budget. And again, that's going to be based on when commitment is committed. Excise came in for the month at $169,124.17. Year to date, we're at $866,826.22. We're over budget 0.8%. Revenue sharing came in at $273,724.18. Year to date, we're at $1,280,970.81. We're currently over budget by 4.7%, or about $110,000. Moving over to page 99 is our quarterly investment report. And it's pretty much status quo. Nothing changed. No CD got renewed in this second quarter. I do just want to mention, though, that with all the Fed talks, the banks are actually looking and have started lowering their interest rates. So we're not going to be getting the nice 5% interest rates anymore. But I'm trying to lock them in at right now. There's going rates of 3.85. So I'm trying to keep a shorter year span to get the higher rate. And then the last thing I'd like to mention is our cash graph on page 100. Again, with the commitment not happening, you can see the last 3 months, our actual cash balance is less than last year in 2024. And I suspect that that's going to continue until we go into commitment. So it'll probably be like October before we see those numbers rebound if we do commit in September. Okay. But again, that's all based on the school budget passing. So that's our hiccup. So we will have different comparisons from months to months, going forward, because we're usually committing in July or August. So those numbers will move around this year. Yes.
So we're not in a danger zone yet. I mean,
No,
without this
but that's
commitment,
why I
we're-
wanted to make mention of that.
Yeah.
We're keeping a very close eye on that because if we get to a point where, we have to make sure we have money for payroll and stuff.
we can borrow or do something.
Yeah, there's what they call a TAN.
Yep.
Tax anticipated note that we can do. So we'll keep a very close eye on that up until commitment. One good thing about that is we don't have to pay our appropriation to the school until we get commitment passed, so.
So does that change the dates as far as taxes are concerned? Because
Yeah,
it's
so
being
like
put
it's
out?
gonna change my whole timeline for like liens next year. I have to do liens between 8 and 12 months of commitment, so it's gonna, get into the summer months next. I usually commit liens or process liens in May, so we're looking at June if it passes in September.
So, sidebar question, under the way that school board's being pushed back, individual tax payments going out to the citizens, will that still be with the same cutoff, or are we gonna be able to push that back? I mean, how is that gonna work?
That is one of the motions that the council votes on when we set commitment.
Okay.
Sorry, did I cut you off?
That's fine.
No, as long as I got an answer, I'm good.
I know there have been times in the past where we have kept the date the same, but I don't think we've gone this
Not
long
this long.
into
No,
the
we
season without having that taken care of, so we may have to look at that.
We've been in here, but now we're
Not
looking
quite
another
this
whole
far
month,
in
not
here,
quite this
yeah.
far. Usually it's settled out by now.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause
That's all I had, unless anyone else had
Anybody have any other questions? No?
Motion to accept the financials as presented.
Second.
Motion and second. Further discussion? Bagley?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
Lovewell?
Aye.
Smith?
Aye.
Terrio?
Aye.
Watson?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you, Carl.
Item 10B is the city manager's report.
So the final Thursdays on Sweden Street is August 7th with the theme Bike Night, and all brands are welcome. You can bring your bike to 58 in Main at 81 Sweden Street. And for everyone who has a motorcycle there on Bike Night, you can be entered to win one of 3 prize baskets worth $250.
Nice.
Can I
The-
bring my mountain bike?
No, it's gonna happen.
That's all I got.
Talk to Gary. He's in charge of Thursdays on Sweden
All
Street.
right.
Land Bank, we are actually working with Northern Maine Development Commission to set up a call with the Maine Land Bank. Riverfront Master Plan, the Master Plan RFP, which is funded by the MBRC grant, is now out for bid. Interested parties can find it on the website under RFP. The Facade Improvement Program, the fall application period, it's basically open now. You have until September 30th to apply, but we will be advertising it in the newspaper in August and also again in September. The Economic Growth Council, the team is working on some website updates to make it easier for people who might be looking for funding. For business outreach, the business newsletters went out last week, and we sent those to 260 businesses and people who are on our boards and committees here in the community. Tax acquired property policy, the city council has formed an ad hoc committee to come up with a plan for that. I got another call today about a tax acquired property, and it's a blighted property, and someone would like to take care of it, but our hands are tied by the state, unfortunately, on matters dealing with tax acquired property. The fire station renovations, there's a project kickoff meeting scheduled for Tuesday, August 29th. For the police station, the committee is working with the low bidder to identify potential cost savings. For the cable franchise renewal, there's been work on the state level on a model franchise agreement. And I've also been in touch with Spectrum because of the issues that we have in this room with our access channel edited for language. And so
That is an issue.
yeah, so the only way really to get that fixed is to enter into a new agreement with Spectrum. So that's something we'll have to work with our attorney in using the model franchise agreement to make sure that the city is able to get everything that they need. At the airport, I actually spent an hour up there today looking at the project. Soderberg Construction is doing a great job on the apron project. Stantec, who's our airport consultant, they're doing a great job with oversight. We have also been able to fund something that has been an issue at the airport every winter is a sewer line. And this year we had some funds left in a small communities grant, and I was able to use that towards this to fixing this. So
That's cool.
that is actually going to be fixed, so we don't have to run water in the bathroom in the terminal building all winter. So those two things are going on. We have a lot of interest in the airport, and that's really great. It's a good resource for the community. As we have businesses that are taking a look at Caribou and our wonderful location that we have and looking to invest, the airport is something they see as a real asset for businesses. Personnel policy staff is working on updates. The comp plan update, the sections are complete except for one that I'm still editing, and I'm hoping to have it done this week. 15 Prospect Street, the invoice for cost incurred for the dangerous building action remain unpaid. If those are unpaid when we commit taxes, he will have a special assessment on his taxes for the amount to clean up the dangerous building. The Water Street fire, the City Council should discuss next steps as the owner has indicated they are unable to clean up the property. So this is something that I brought to the council, gosh, many years ago, 2, 3, whenever it happened, as a dangerous building, but the council voted against it being a dangerous building. But there's nothing being done. So I think it's something where probably the city's going to have to take it on because the owner is not going to do anything.
Can I ask a question before you, just real quick? I know that we had talked about some of the grant, maybe that we could look at that, but what about the pool of money that we have from the business, from the TIF district or whatever? Can that be used? Do we even have enough money to maybe
the council
utilize?
appropriates from the TIF district blight funds every year. You approve it in your budget in Department 11. And so that's money that could be used, and that's all generated in the TIF district, and that property is in the TIF district.
That was my question. I mean, I know that we're using a chunk on Herschel, so that's part of it, but I'm not sure what we would have. Carl's already gone, so, but you might know too, or we can maybe find out, but as another avenue or resource, because I think it's just awful.
There'll have to be some engineering done there first because it has common walls with other buildings, so we want to make sure that anything that's moved isn't affecting something else. That's one of the things that make it particularly challenging over there.
Stuff that's in there.
Do we have
That's been why we've been kind of apprehensive about trying to do
Right,
something.
do
because
something.
There's
Do we have
liability involved.
to,
The liability. with the-
It is
the
a
two-
big liability.
The two adjacent
do
owners,
we
you
have to
know.
contact and work with DEP and EPA because of the stream that flows by it?
Well, DEP,
We are.
yes, and we have
Hopefully-
had conversations with them about
Hopefully we
that,
can find
and
enough money
as
to let
Councilor
somebody else
Lovewell
take
was speaking
that
about,
on, you know, somebody that's
we
more qualified
have
than we
worked
are.
with EPA
Give it to
to
'em.
identify
Tax
some
credit property.
assessment funds, they're called, to be
Right.
able to help with that. So those would have been in the same appropriation for 2025 that our steam plant funds were.
Okay.
And so I have had to submit our paperwork for that cleanup grant, and I'm sure that Maine DEP, who's administering the assessment funds, they will be doing that also. These are all people that I will be seeing in 2 weeks in Chicago at the Brownfields conference. And so, because they're all in Region 1 does have a lot of time where they get together. And so I'm hoping that by that time, since, you know, they'll have their paperwork done, we can get a better idea of what the timeline for application to access some of those funds for assessment will be. You know that I'm always trying to work on getting grants to fund the council priorities.
Well, and you know, back, a lot of you weren't here when that first happened. And of course, the two buildings on the side of the main building that burned, they're at risk if somebody goes in there.
They are,
You know, they're at risk of collapsing or whatever, and who's going to pay for that? You know, I mean, I think some of them had insurance, but I don't know where that insurance went. That could have probably been, you know, but who's going to pay that for that? And that's why the council at the time has been reluctant to touch them, because we don't want to put the city at
We
risk
didn't.
of having.
I don't believe we took that before.
But here's the
Did we?
problem. This is, I mean, this is.
We
We
didn't
said
take
no.
it. No, we haven't taken it for.
We
Yeah,
said,
no,
no,
it's
no,
been,
no, we gotta
foreclosure's
touch
been
that.
waived, yeah.
So maybe we can put that on an agenda here
Yeah.
coming up
Yeah.
to talk about that.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Personnel changes, Chris Perkins is the new Director of Public Works. His first day was today. The DOT Village Partnership, the final draft was received June 30th. I have Eric working on that. Administrative approvals, liquor license application, and special, which I did not spell right, amusement license approved for Northern Maine Brewing Company and Caribou Country Club. I also want to say that our own city clerk, Danielle Brissett, finished the New England Municipal Clerks Institute. This has been
Yay.
something that she's been going to for 3 years. And so she graduated this year, and we're real proud of her,
Good
because
job.
there's only been three
Congratulations.
three
Cat-
clerks
cat
ever,
the gown, all that
I
stuff.
think, from Aroostook County that has gone through that program. So you all, well, oh, that's right, because Sue worked here at one time too, that's right. So there's also in your packet, along with the city manager's report, a notice. So we get a lot of calls in this office, the clerk's office deals with a lot of them, about our cemeteries in town. And the city council appropriates money for the care of veterans' graves, which is something that's required by state statute. So one of our larger cemeteries, which is Evergreen, that is a corporation. As our former clerk, Jane Farron, would say, the city owns no cemeteries. Like, she would say that to people when they call. And it's true. So most of them have some kind of organization that oversees them. So Evergreen Cemetery, Inc. is the corporation that's organized under the laws of the state of Maine, and it was organized in 1960. So they have not had a meeting since 1970, and because they haven't been able to get a quorum. So a quorum is 17 qualified voters, and to be qualified, you have to have, you know, partial ownership in a lot up there. So you have to, you know, because most of the owners of the lots are using them presently, so they would not be available to come to the meeting.
Well, wouldn't they be at the meeting if they just went to Evergreen?
Yeah, we could have.
There you go.
So I'm trying to be respectful in what I say, and respectful to my daughter's business, you know. So what we're trying to do, because the current cemetery sexton is just not able to do this anymore. He's in his 80s, and he came in and said, like, the town's going to need to take this over because you'll never be able to get a quorum at a meeting. And I said, challenge accepted. So I don't really want to see the city take over the cemetery. And they do have funds for perpetual care. I think what needs to happen is the corporation needs to meet. They need to reorganize so that they can run as a corporation. So if anyone listening or anyone here now, if you have a lot at Evergreen Cemetery, please come to the meeting. It's going to, what?
Do you mean, oh, I don't mean to interrupt, do you mean like a lot for ourselves or a family member?
For yourself. Like if you have something in there, or, well, the thing is too, I've talked to Mr. Summers, who's been running the cemetery, and he doesn't even get paid for that for years and years. If, you know, if most of the lot is being occupied, it can be, you know, a future generation can inherit a spot in there if there's open spots. But if it's just that you have family in there that you want to make sure that the cemetery is taken care of, you don't really qualify to be a voter. But if you have a spot, like for example, I have a headstone up there, which is, you know, one of my selling features for being your city manager is that I have no desire to go anywhere else in the country. My headstone is in Evergreen beside my husband, and it is in his family lot. So the official owner of the lot is his mother, who's been occupying her spot since 2011. But there are 3 spots there. So there's one for Dana and one for Penny and one for Idella. So we can be voters because we have spots for us to be there.
Okay.
And there's probably a lot of people whose spouse is already, you know, occupying their spot, but they have, you know, spoken for a spot there, so they would be able to be a voter. So we're trying to get at least 17 people.
All right.
And if anyone has any questions, call me or email me, because this is something I just don't want to see the city have to take this on. I really feel like there's enough interest, and even this hasn't really been advertised much yet, but I've already had people reaching out, you know, and asking questions like, how do I know if I'm someone who could vote? Can I just come to the meeting so I can, you know, see if I can help? Because there are a lot of people that have loved ones in the cemetery that want to see the cemetery continue with that perpetual care. So this is, you know, probably important to unimportant to most people. It's very important to me because, again, you know, I always say I'm going to visit my in-laws, like when I would have to go up to water the flowers and things, because my husband's whole family is there for many generations. So.
I have a question.
Yes.
The city owns plots there.
Okay, the city owns plots there.
Yes.
Great.
How many?
I'd have to check, but I have a few left.
Yeah, because I mean, Penny's
For
with Penny's
For general
3.
assistance, yeah.
So does that open our council to be able to attend this meeting?
I don't know, but I will ask Mr.
Oh.
Summers.
That would make
Because the
that
city owns
yeah,
the lots in the
sense.
instance.
Yeah.
In a
For
pauper
general
funeral, whatever the term is.
Occupy them, but.
But if
Yeah,
the
so
city
somebody has-
owns the lot, and it says in the bylaws, like, owns a lot or part of the lot, and my questions have been
lots.
about part of the lot. So I'll see if we can have members of our
That's a good
council.
idea. Yeah.
Very good observation. Thanks,
Yeah.
Danielle. So that's new and noteworthy.
Thank you. Yeah. Awesome.
She went to school. She knows all about
Yes,
it.
she knows all about the
Yeah,
front yard.
absolutely.
So does anyone have any questions about the manager's report or any other questions from administration?
I do have a question, actually,
Yeah.
and this is off the subject a little bit, but with the solar, and I know that we've finally started seeing some rewards from that solar, but now there's all kinds of changes in government and things like that. Are we going to stop seeing those? I don't want to call them kickbacks. That's not the right word, but the money that you receive back towards your electricity from the solar that you bought into, or we bought into?
Right, so the city has a purchase power agreement with Nordic Sun Energy, and we just started seeing that savings. I believe it started in maybe February or March. It was right around the time we were finalizing the budget. And I haven't been able to really do a deep dive to see, like, comparing, like, per kilowatt hour when we're actually, are we really saving money, or has Versant raised it 20%? We're getting 20% savings on
Yeah.
paper, okay? But has Versant raised it 20%, so it doesn't matter. But we are, in theory, saving 20% off of our eligible bills, which, when I say eligible, streetlights is not eligible, but all of our buildings are on that. And so we are saving 20%. Whether
It's
a
real
true,
money.
whether, you know, but we would still be paying the higher rate anyway, so I guess I would say we're saving 20% off of what we would pay, but it feels like we're still paying about the same as we were because of the
some of those
heights.
programs are being phased out because of the new current administration.
Yeah.
So that's what I was just wondering if you would
I
seen
think
that.
those are more on the development side
Okay.
rather than the, like, off-takers. Like, we're an off-taker
Okay.
from that. But I can certainly have someone check into it. It won't be me because it's way over my head.
I mean,
that
and,
stuff.
yeah, I mean, I'm not going to task you with something
But
else,
I will
was
tell
just
you,
curious.
going to the Brownfields conference, they are co-located with some kind of solar conference. So if there's time, although I will tell you at the Brownfields conference, they keep you busy from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day. If there's time, we can actually go to their, you know, trade trade show floor and stuff and ask questions over there. And we have a really good working relationship with NG, who has the solar farm that's down by the Caribou Inn, and they're going to be there because we've already heard from them that they're going to be in Chicago. They were in Detroit 2 years ago too.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So I'll probably be able to, have a conversation like during some of the, there's always time for networking at these events.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you. All right, item 11 is unfinished business, which we do not have. Item 12 is new business, which we do not have. Item 13 is reports and discussion by mayor and council members. I will start with Councilor Watson.
Nothing.
Councilor Calhoun? Nothing. Councilor Terrio?
No, except to say that, boy, those newsletters are nice.
Yes, they are.
Oh, yeah. Eric put that together.
That's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Hannah's doing a great job with the good to knows at the end of the week too.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, those are nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, we already talked about the parade, how well organized it was. It was a pleasure to be there, as always. We had the AWS, the landfill meeting, last Friday. Go Friday, I guess. So business as usual there. Talking about the solar, there's some question. There may be some solar put out there at some point, but just kind of up in the air. So other than that, that's all I have.
I just want to
Councilor
remark
Alba?
about how amazing the fireworks display was for Caribou
didn't- I
Cares
didn't-
About Kids. It was fantastic. I mean, I always say that's better than any 4th of July's fireworks. I really think it's amazing, so.
We've actually had a lot of comments about the fireworks, that people thought they were the best ever.
They were amazing.
And I will say to you the same thing that I've said to the citizens that have reached out, which is Gary and his team at the rec work on this all year. This isn't something that's thrown together in a short period. They really work all year trying to make sure that they can provide kids of all ages with a very memorable experience during what is Caribou's signature festival, which is Caribou Cares About Kids. And it's really a lot of detail. It's like Deputy Mayor Smith said, it's one person that does the parade. And there were people at the parade saying, this is our 4th parade this summer, but how many people do you have running this parade? Because it's the best, the most well-run, and it's one person that's doing that, but he has a lot of experience.
I will say that from my experience with the VFW, we do the we do the parade circuit. We do Limestone, we do Potato Blossom Festival, Cares About Kids, and we're getting ready to go up and do the Acadian Festival. So
That one's up next.
Yeah.
I gotta get my going tuned up.
yeah, so to be quite honest with you, it's Limestone is 2 ladies. They do a fantastic job, but they only do the office span, and then everybody's kind of on their own, and there's like one guy standing there going, yeah, we're going to kind of do it this way. The Memorial Day we do here, obviously, but that falls more under Roger Felix, and we take that from Gary's lead, so he lets us play with that. Potato Blossom Festival is an 11-person committee. That is a nightmare trying to, they do a great job, don't get me wrong, but can you imagine dealing with 11 people trying to get stuff done? So yeah, it is always a pleasure to come here and do Caribou Cares About Kids, just because it's, for us, it's real easy. It's a nice exchange. Gary does an awesome job. I wish he was still here. I tell him that again. I would like to give him some sort of award for that, if we can figure out a way to do that, because him and his crew, that's well above.
Oh, it's very well done. And Thursdays on Sweden Street this year has been some of the biggest crowds I've ever had.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's been very well, because we've had wonderful weather. And it was really nice. We had a counselor and a planning board member as judges, and we had 2 counselors, Counselor Watson and Counselor Bagley, in the parade.
Yes.
So that was nice.
That's awesome.
Which is,
That
I
really
suspect, why you didn't vote for my float. Is that what you did there? That was rude, man. That was rude.
The auxiliary.
You guys are all kind of together.
Yeah, we are. But they've really taken it a notch up and stuff. So yes, it is all one organization, but yeah, they get their kudos for what they do. We don't stand in the way of that. We like to make sure they get the, the reward that they worked hard for. So we don't try to shadow that at all. So yeah. But dude, you could at least have casted one vote. You know what I'm saying?
How do you know I didn't?
I saw the look. You had your head down and you were writing. Don't even try.
Councilor Bagley.
No reports, but thanks for accommodating my remote participation tonight. I know it's not optimal, but I appreciate the opportunity to participate. Thank you.
Okay, the only thing I have is that nomination papers for the November 4, 2025 municipal election actually became available today. So they're available at the city clerk's office in the municipal building. It's right here at 25 High Street in Caribou. The deadline to return nomination papers, is before 4:30 p.m. on September 5th. 2025. So the seats that are currently available for next year are 2 3-year term seats on the City Council, 1 3-year term seat for the Eastern Aroostook RSU 39 Board, and 1 3-year term seat for the Jefferson Carey Memorial Hospital Fund Board. So anybody who would like to hold an elected city position and run for that must be a registered voter in Caribou and must have nomination papers signed by at least 25 other registered Caribou voters.
Could be 3 there if I run away from home.
Okay, we'll note that if that happens. Okay, our next regular meeting will be August 25th. We do not have any executive sessions on the agenda this evening. So,
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second it.
motion and second. Any further discussion? Bagley?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
Lovewell?
Aye.
Smith?
Oh, yeah, I guess not.
Terrio? Watson? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here.
You're still awake, it's amazing.
Thanks, everyone.
I don't know if
I don't know if that, but I can't go back on Bangor Daily's new reporter.
Nice to meet you. Welcome. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Myself.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you very much for letting us be here.
Probably the most